Good evening, everyone. This is our first 9 o'clock broadcast that we are trying. So please give me some feedback. Let me know these different time frames, what works best for you, and we will try to, you know, do a good analysis of what's the best timing. The topic for tonight is design work, and we've talked about this multiple times, but mainly on the prototype side. And last week, we had an interesting conversation with a licensee I have worked with for years, and they brought up an important um, point of view for us. So when you go out the door, in that early stage and say, do I have something or do I not have something? We always say, build your own version of a prototype, get it out of your head into something three-dimensional. Don't really care what it is that you use. Duct tape and cardboard, Legos. I've seen some really good ones out of Legos. Pipe cleaners, Play-Doh, anything you've got sitting around. Some people will go to a Walmart and buy a few cheap things off the shelf and create their own version of a prototype of their product. That's all terrific. I don't want you spending a lot of money on this. This is not where we want you certainly spending AOS dollars if you are chosen through the vetting process. But we want that first prototype you do just to be your play version. All right, so what's next? Well, once you've had the independent search done and you've had patentability opinion done and probably filed a provisional, now it's time for the next version of the prototype. And depending on what it is, sometimes you have to have that sexy prototype done before you can have the provisional. I do not recommend you wait on the provisional. You can add things, you can make changes, you can even file another provisional if you have to. But when you wait, time is not your friend, and we want to make sure that you understand that. All right, so the sexy prototype, it's one that, yeah, somebody might really be interested. They might offer to buy it. You can certainly show it. You can use it as proof of concept. Generally, it's not considered a sale version. But I've seen some beautiful ones done on rapid prototype machines that, people are saying, how much do you want for that? They tend to be very expensive when they've just been off a rapid prototype machine. But what we ran into last week was that, the inventors had a couple of different versions of prototypes. They had the functioning prototype, they had the wooden prototype, and they were beautiful. All right, especially the first one that they had. It's what the wife had used all the time. But what we ran into was now the manufacturing element of the prototype. The prototypes were functional, but they were not considered the manufacturer suite design. Okay, so what are we talking about? You get design work done. You might go to one of these places that does, maker space type things. And really then it's just about, how it looks. What we're looking for and what truly makes a difference is that the manufacturing point of view. All right. So what these guys were really looking at, this potential licensee, was price points. All right, they knew that based on the other products that are out there, they needed to be able to get this landed in the country at a certain price point. And the prototype done by the inventor was far off the mark. So there was going to be a lot of design work that needed to be done. And really, you need a special type of design engineer, that really focuses on the design from a manufacturing point of view. There is a difference between having it look good and having it being cost effective and looking good. And that takes a special type of guy. So they're out there. All right. But you, the inventor, when you're going out and looking for design work to be done, it is not unusual that you may have two different levels. One is for that sexy prototype, and the other one then is more developed, more intense, more expensive. And it helps your ability to license it. I mean, that was one of the things that came out, is that, if the inventor can go ahead and get some of that design work done, all right, then the licensee is really excited about the product. They know it's got potential, and they know that there's a big market for it. It's the timing. They're looking at things from a cost point of view, the things that are already in their lineup, how much work has to be done on those, and this new project. And so for the inventors now, they are looking for that specific design engineer that can take a look at it and say, all right, we know if this is the landed in the USA price that we have to hit, this is where we've got to be able to start. And it's an art. I mean, it really is. It's a skill set. It's not just about making it function and making it look good. It really is a different mindset when you're going after that manufacturing point of view to hit a price point. And some of these markets are really tight right now. If you've got the best-selling product is going to be $15 less than yours, you're really looking at hitting now new price points. It can be done. I mean, I have seen some of those design engineers, certainly ones I've worked with in Colorado, that when you go in and you say, okay, this is the price point we're shooting for, and they say, okay, let's hit it. Now, it takes some work. It takes, a lot of times redrawing things. And so you've got to be aware if the patent is in a provisional state, right, that's easy. That's easy to fix. That's easy to go ahead and say when the utility gets filed now to put those changes in. Sometimes you file a new provisional, but as long as you are keeping your attorney up to date and you're showing them any changes in design, you can work with that. You can get that fixed. So now you've optimized. Sorry, I hit the table, so I didn't mean to shake the camera. You're optimizing the phases. All right. So you get the design work that needs to be done for a sexy prototype. We find the interest for the licensee. Sometimes the licensee, they're excited about it. They're willing to do the design work. If not, if they're saying, like these guys are saying, if you can find an engineer, we are more than happy to work with that engineer to get it teed up faster so we can get it in our lineup. And that's, it wasn't that they didn't want to or that they're not willing to keep it in the lineup. It's just, being straight with the inventor to tell the inventor, we've got these other things that are topping out above yours. And, the big holdup here is the months that we'll spend on the design work to hit that sweet spot of pricing. Because let's face it, now, if they're going to have 50,000 of these done, pricing does make a difference. So when you, the inventor, are looking at it and say, all right, we've got the sexy prototype now, we know there's interest. What is it looking like as far as the potential licensees? Do we need to go ahead and take that step? 6 months can make a heck of a difference. If a potential licensee says, if you can get the design engineer to work on this to hit a manufacturing price point, right, we can get this out the door in 12 months instead of 24 months. That's big. That is a big darn deal. So we want to make sure that you understand the different levels. And sometimes, the inventor can step up to the plate and help that licensee say, yes, we are really interested in this, but we need you to get that extra design work done. If you get it done ahead of time, it is a lot easier. I mean, this was not the first time that we had heard a potential licensee say this about this product. We've got to be able to hit a better price point. The design work is going to be tough. And you, Mr. Inventor, if you can step up to the plate on that, that'd be great. Okay, so where does that lead us? Archimedes Offspring. It is not unusual by any means that an inventor gets to this point and says, but I don't have this extra $10,000, $20,000 for the design work. And it could run anywhere from $5,000 to $25,000, depending on what you've got and what has to be done. All right. Archimedes Offspring can step in, and when you go through the vetting process, step in and be able to pay for that. And yes, all right, the investors expect a return on their money. They're not going to take something lightly. And it's great when they say, oh, all right, now we've got this other licensee that's ready to go as soon as the design work is done. Archimedes Offspring can save you the time, the heartache, and getting beat to the marketplace. So don't overlook that option, especially if you start teeing something up and now all of a sudden you run into that wall, which is what these inventors are doing. They've got to figure out how to push that next level of design. I see the flower shaking. That next level of design, through the round peg going through a square hole. They've got to be able to deal with the money issue. And Archimedes Offspring is there to make the difference for you. We can help you get that fine-tuned design work done. So the licensee is going, Yay, that's great. We are ready to rock and roll. And that's one of the other things that, that we've talked about is that there are some times that, when the inventor has done more to tee it up, it's easier to license because now the licensee just picks it up and runs with it. On this side, when there had been just kind of a rough prototype, um, it takes more time. And sometimes, as I talked to you last week, time is not your friend in the inventing world. So pay attention to the different phases of design work. You've got your own duct tape and cardboard version. You've got now the sexy prototype version, and now there's a manufacturer's version. And sometimes inventors have a hard time understanding that. It's real, it's out there, different skill sets. So not unusual that you might need more than one design engineer to help you out. Let me know. We have got resources. So stay in touch. Let me know about this timing. Let me know if you've got any questions. We are asking for inventors to go through the vetting process that we're going through this week and picking our favorites. So get your application in. Looking forward to hearing from you. Let me know if you've got any questions, and I will talk to you tomorrow, I think at 3 o'clock Mountain Standard Time. Daylight time. We're still daylight time. Talk to you tomorrow. Have a nice evening.